So today we're going to be talking about Ohio Amish Country, which is much more than buggies and horses. That's right, it is time for another Launching Life's Journeys podcast special road trip series with the queen of road trips herself, Mrs. Brandy Gleason. And as you guys can see on the highlight, Shannon Carter. She is awesome, and she's got a lot of exciting things happening in the Ohio Amish Country. I have a lot of questions. Where does it start? Where does it end? What is there to do? But I'm actually going to let Brandy run with this because from my understanding, you two are pals. She thinks the world of you, and she just thinks that the Amish Country is something that everybody, at least if you are a native of Ohio, you have to go do. And everybody in the surrounding states, if you're passing through on the I-80, I-90, and you get to Amish Country, we are going to outline all the reasons why it is a great destination for all families to go to. So with that, Brandy, the queen of road trips, why don't you take it away? Welcome, Shannon, to the Launching Life's Journeys podcast, and let's talk Ohio Amish Country.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming, Shannon, and you are truly one of my faves. As she helped me write the 100 Things to Do in Ohio's Amish Country Before You Die. Without her, that book would never have been and what it continues to be. So thank you so much for working with me. And that has developed such a great relationship, and now professionally, but now also personally. So as we get going, I would love for you to share some of your favorite things that you have come to love being part of Ohio's Amish Country.
Yeah, thank you for having me, guys. I'm very excited to be a part of this. So some of my favorite things, backstory, I'm a Holmes County native. So typically when you work in the industry where you live, you kind of become very jaded to your surroundings, trying to avoid all of those things. But some of the things we really have learned to embrace here in Amish Country are the non-traditional Amish experiences. And by that, I mean we have Hummingbird Hill Flower Farm, which is a 6-acre flower farm where you can go pick flowers and just truly be enveloped in what the beauty is of Holmes County. Mm-hmm. So I always tell people, if you just need a place to rejuvenate and relax, that's your hub. We have the Age of Steam Roundhouse, which is another one of my favorites. It's a full working locomotive train station, I guess is what you would call it, where you can go see all the steam engines. So that's one of my favorites. And then kind of to wrap it all together, I love to take people off the beaten path and take them to someplace they don't expect in Amish Country, which is the Inn at Honey Run. And the Inn at Honey Run is an all-inclusive adult resort, but it also is home to the Holmes County Art Walk Museum's open air museum. So that way you can get a little piece of art on your journey. They have tarragon, which is fine dining, farm to table. So as much as they can organically source, they do in the restaurant. And then you can also just stay, and it's in the trees, the canopies. It's just a great experience.
That's awesome.
The tarragon is amazing. Like literally 5-star dining in the middle of the trees. Absolutely phenomenal.
So one question I have for both of you is if you can, Shannon, like how did, because obviously in the intro, Brandy basically just gave you credit for her being a celebrity with her best-selling book, as she's always stopping along her journey to sign autographs. We ought to have you teleport or something and get your autographs on some of these pages. But, Brandy, how did the inspiration of the book, 100 Things to Do in Amish Country, how did that develop? Did it really start with a relationship that you already had with Shannon, or was it your experience going through there and then you guys meeting and going, holy cow, I love it here too? How did that all, how did you, I guess, Brandy, discover Holmes County and then get connected with Shannon and discover so many great things in this region?
Well, that is a great question because I was raised conservative Mennonite, so I was up there a lot as a kid. Okay. And so I have just loved the area. I was actually asked to write a different book, which I'm writing now, which is 100 Things to Do in Ohio Before You Die. But I begged, borrowed, pleaded with the publisher and said, hey, I've always wanted to write about Amish country. Can I write this book first? They said, sure. If it bombs, you'll never get another contract. And so I was like calling up the CVB saying, I need help because I took this project and I wasn't sure how successful something like that would be because it's so niched in. And Shannon said, hey, yeah, I'll meet with you. We had never met before. And she just was so selfless with her time. And she told me some hidden gems that even I didn't know about. So she was like, her name is in the beginning of the book. Like, thank you, Shannon Carter.
Yeah. I think for me, the best experience through that whole journey that we did together was, I remember the first initial meet at Airport Ridge. We sat out and just talked for hours. And it was great to share not only what people think they know of Amish country, because a lot of people know Berlin, Ohio, and they think that's just Amish country, but being able to showcase what makes the county a destination as well as the area. And I think we showed that full spectrum, where sometimes when you travel, you don't get the whole story and you don't even get a local's perspective. So being able to tie in my roots as well as what tourists already know is, I think, what made, and Brandy's amazing storytelling. I mean, let's be honest.
Yeah,
So
100%. That's why I dubbed her the queen of road trips. And obviously too, being that, I work for an RV manufacturer here in Elkhart, Indiana. There are Amish towns here as well. One of the things that I really appreciate about Amish towns throughout North America are just a focus on the simple things. You just kind of outline the 6-acre farm, the roundhouse, the honey run. It doesn't take a lot of infrastructure. It's been there for a long time, multi-generational. And of course, the other thing that you cannot oversight or miss is the amazing food typically that you find in Amish communities. So I'm sure that list is lengthy. There's more than a top 10. Can you just kind of mention for the listeners and the viewers that are going, hey, this sounds fun. We can, go and do some of these activities, but we're going to be hungry. That's what everybody does when they travel, right? Like Jim Gaffigan, he has a skit where he goes, what do you do when you travel? Well, you get there and then you go, hey, you want to eat? Yeah, sure, you want to eat. And then when you're done, you go, hey, what do you want to do now? Well, I don't know, let's eat. So if you are in the Ohio Amish country, where are some great places that people should definitely put in their GPS?
Are you going to take this one, Brandy? Because you know my thing. I was going to say my
She's
thing
opening the book to the section.
Well, I was going to say my thing is I always tell people that come in my door here at the visitor center, if you've come to Amish country and you leave hungry, you've done something entirely wrong, because there is food almost every 5 minutes away from you. So I don't know where she wants to start.
So
with
how
this,
about
but
this?
There's a lot of options.
Brandy, give me, and this is not biased, so we're not excluding anybody.
Right.
I'm just putting you guys on the spot. Everybody's a winner. Brandy, if you were to say 3 places that you really just stick out for you, and then Shannon, you get to say 3, and you have to change. You can't say, oh, same as Brandy. So you guys each got to give me 3.
I'll go first then.
So,
all right.
So we're gonna go Brandy first.
Is it restaurants or is it?
No, it can be just
food?
anything you eat. A home that you go to a farm, any experience that includes food. Brandy, you first. Give me 3.
All right. Number 1 is Boyd Werthman's downtown Berlin. It's been there forever. You walk in the door, it's nostalgic. It has the same look as it has looked like forever, but the food is, oh my gosh, phenomenal. Right now, the perfect time to go because they have their fresh peaches and ice cream. Even if you're on a diet, you'll eat it all. And the next place I would head to is Rebecca's Bistro. It is in Walnut Creek. It's very limited hours, and so you have to get there before they close. The lines can be an hour long, but it's worth the 1 hour wait. Delicious, and it's in an old log cabin, which makes it really, really unique and special. And last but certainly not least, I go to Miller's Bakery. It is one of the most authentic Amish bakeries in the area, and they have these delightful little tarts. And again, like Shannon said, if you leave Amish country and you're hungry, you certainly did something wrong, and more than likely you'll probably leave 10 pounds heavier. I probably gained 50 pounds just writing the book.
So there's 3 from you, Shannon.
Okay, so I'm going to go on a little different route than she went. So what I tell people, especially people with kids, when they come into my office, because they will come in first thing in the morning, where can I go? Especially if they've been in the RV. I ask them if they've had breakfast, because you've got little kids running around. You need to feed them. My hotspot is Hirschberger's Farm and Bakery to send them because they have the biggest, some people call them long johns. We call them cream sticks here. And one long john will feed 2 people. It will give you, if you have sugar or diabetic, I often tell people take only a little section of it because they are the biggest donuts on this earth. And they
So
are.
you got donuts the size of bumpers. Good to know.
Yes. We have 2 different places that actually do that. We also have Amish Country Donuts who make glazed donuts that are as big as a pizza. So we tell people we've got you covered on donuts. So that would be my number 1 stop. My next stop would be Trail Bologna. So Troyer's Trail is something that is made here in Holmes County. It is actually made in the town of Trail. There is a deli restaurant that has a 1930 cafe built into it. It's the smallest little cafe, but a delicacy for Holmes County locals is a hot bologna or hot trail and Swiss sandwich. So that is what you will see people telling you have to eat it if you want to experience true Amish country here in Holmes County. You can also get that at Boyd and Worthman's and Der Dutchman and the other restaurants. So don't think you have to go to Trail. But and then finally, the third thing I would tell people, and it's kind of a little different for each person, but I would always recommend the Der Dutchman because you're going to get your noodles, your mashed potatoes, your roast beef, your broasted chicken, and to get that all in a buffet style is really what you want to come experience. So yeah.
That's awesome. So for everybody listening, you got places to eat. You highlighted some of the top things to do. Brandy, obviously your book, which is done very, very well. You've got a lot of pages in it. So outside of just maybe some of the things you said in the intro, as well as the food options, when people come to your door, did you get a guest? Is somebody breaking in?
I didn't know what was happening. Sorry.
No, you're good. That's why I like it live.
We can
There's
edit that
variety of things happening outside of my office, not in my office. So we're
okay, no worries. We're gonna edit. So Dave, we're editing. So here we go in 3, 2. So Shannon, obviously there's a lot more pages in Brandy's best-selling books that she basically dedicated to your area. I guess for me, what are some of the questions? And Brandy, you and I talk a lot offline. When people are traveling, weather changes, needs change, kids got to go to the bathroom, mom or dad got to go to the bathroom, everybody has to go to the bathroom. So sometimes you do have to change your navigational beacon, when you're planning out your destinations and where you're going to stay. So when those things happen and people do arrive into the Ohio Amish country, Shannon, when they come to your office, what are some of the things that they're looking for?
So 9 times out of 10, what the biggest thing they ask me for is a map.
Okay.
So we actually have created an online digital version map. I'm proud to say that is launched. It's called Wander, Wander, and it allows the traveler to see in real time what is around them because Ohio Amish country is a little bit rural in that Millersburg holds the postal code for pretty much 90% of our area. So when people are traveling to us, they automatically think they're coming to Millersburg. So I explained to them, no, that's a 30-mile
Nothing
radius.
against Millersburg.
Right.
We love the people of Millersburg.
We love Millersburg. But it's actually a 30-mile radius of towns. Okay. So what we tell people is all of our towns are 5 to 7 miles apart because that's all the further the buggies here are allowed to travel at one time. Okay. So giving them that kind of beacon of where they're going to navigate and how they're going to travel in the area is always important. The next thing they want to know is where they can get culture and answer the true questions they have about Amish country, not coming from me or somebody else on the street. So we always send them to Behalt, which is the Amish and Mennonite Heritage Center. There at the top of every hour, you can get a tour, ask your questions, and really understand the faith and why they choose to live the life they do here. And then the third question, is always food. And then if it's raining, what can I do with my kids? Yeah. That is the number, I would say 5 question, especially when it's cold and the farms are all closed down. We have a variety of farms that you can come experience the petting zoos, the safaris, learn about the Amish lifestyle. But what do you do when it's rainy or cold? So we kind of show them all the options indoor as well. So.
And I want to hit you up with I don't want to say a punch to the gut, but just something like a pull of the heart. Obviously you've been in this role for a while. You've been
Mm-hmm.
very successful and you've done some really good things. Um, I guess for you, when you've seen the thousands of families that come through this area, I guess what is some of I always talk about those aha moments or moments of surprise where, one thing that I really appreciate, again, that I've been exposed to Amish and Mennonite way of life is just, again, that simplicity without the dependency, right? Like I
Right.
think about me and I go, oh, am I a bad person? Like my kids are spoiled. They have a lot of materialistic things. And you realize like, that doesn't affect the happiness. And when people think it's a culture shock and you go, wait, these kids don't have a cell phone, they don't have an Instagram account, and they're still smiling. What's going on? Are they medicated? And you really do gain an appreciation for what really matters. So like for you, obviously you do have a special place in your heart for these families
Mm-hmm.
that live a different lifestyle than I would say us traditionally.
Correct.
Is it something for you when people come to you and say, wow, this is so remarkable to, be at that learning center? Like, what are some of the things that you hear that you're just like, it feels good?
Yeah. So for me, like you said, local. So we kind of, grow up differently when we live here all the time. My aha moment really came to me, I think, right before Brandy started, because she's heard me say this a few times. It's you come to Amish country thinking you're going to experience the culture and the beliefs and really understand why they truly live their life. But what you come back for is because there's such a sense of community when you're here. You do not feel like a stranger when you come into, when you walk through my door, I greet you with a smile. I don't rush you out the door. I ask about your family. I ask about your kids, what you want to do and what you want to enjoy in your vacation. And that doesn't stop with just me. The
Yeah.
stores do that. The farms do that. You can walk into our Walmart and people will ask questions to the Amish people and they will answer them. And sometimes we've had families go home and have dinner with these families and create relationships that last generations.
Yeah.
So it's really, people think they're coming to a vacation where they can learn about the culture, but really they're coming to get a sense of community. And that's something that I think has been lost over the years. You don't know your neighbors as well as you used to in the big cities. And in that sense of somebody sees you for who you are is what makes you come back and what makes families feel safe to come here. They know people are watching their kids. So for me, that's the aha moment, watching these repeat guests come in or, somebody walk down the street and you're like, oh my gosh, this person was so nice to me. And it really is just like a big family. It's not, just another person on the street to us. So
Yeah,
And
and I want to ask that.
follow up with that.
Yeah, I want to ask
And
you
I-
the same thing, Brandy.
That's not fair, Will. Yeah, I want to definitely piggyback on that because I think that's what drove me to write the book, is because I wanted to show people that it's more than just like going to this Amish community and just like coming in and seeing what they're about. I mean, there's so much more. It is the community. It is the people. You ask somebody why they've come back year after year for 30 years and they're just like, I just feel so at peace and comfortable no matter where they're staying, whether it's a bed and breakfast, at a campground, in a hotel. I mean, even the hotels, Will, I'm not joking, you feel like you're at home.
Yeah. Yeah, one of the things that I've, kind of said, just like I said, being exposed to a different perspective, right, is, a lot of times people always talk about, well, that Southern hospitality, and then, when you, like my fiance, she's from Boston. And she's like, what, you hug people? I'm like, yeah, you guys don't do that. And nothing against the people of the Northeast, but that's been considered a Midwest thing, right? Is,
right.
All the dudes hug everybody. And one of the things that I love is you guys both said it best. To me, it's like, and I know scripture says this too, it's like when you're in an Amish community, even if you're not witnessing or watching the lifestyle, I almost feel like there's this soft, gentle knock that is just this gentle invitation to take perspective on where you're at in life and then just have gratitude. And like nobody says anything to me, but I'll walk out of a Amish market or something and I'll say, man, I feel good. I got these pickles or I got, you do have that feeling. And I don't know what it is other than maybe what you said, Shannon, is maybe that embracing what's really important, loving your neighbor, treating others as you would treat yourself, the level of respect, it has an effect on you that I think that the longer you stay, the longer it's with you. That's why Brandy's smiling ear to ear right now. It's been amazing to get to know Brandy and her family and know how much this area means to her, and then to take that inspiration of this place to put it out there to a book, to invite thousands of families to have that gentle knock of invitation and have that type of experience. I think it's truly remarkable in the state of Ohio. And I think it's obviously something that you guys work very, very hard to honor and keep in place. One other thing I want to ask both of you is when it comes to the area, there's already destinations that you can go to, right? For entertainment, for food, experiences, as we said. Do you work on anything, Shannon, like throughout the calendar year? Are there special events that happen in this region? And you're already laughing, so I assume so. And then if there is, what are a couple of the ones that you really like? And then I'll give it to the queen of road trips and maybe let her say a thing or two that comes every year that is something that you should maybe target.
Yeah, so we tell people some of the biggest events we have. There are events happening in the county pretty much May through November. There's something going on every weekend. We revert them to our events calendar on our page just because there's so much happening in everybody's different tastes. Some of the biggest ones we like to tell people, there's the Harvest Fest parade that happens in Berlin every September. So it's a community celebration of the harvest season taking place. And it is turned into a 2-day event. They have rib cook-off, they have music on the square, they have fireworks. We have one of the largest parades that happens. And the best thing about this parade is anybody in the community can join. So all of the local businesses are a part of this, and they just give back to the community. So my husband did not believe me when he came the first year. You can have everything from people handing out quarts of ice cream and hot dogs to t-shirts.
Whoa. For everybody listening and viewing, people are handing out quarts and pints of ice cream. They hand out hot dogs, and this is all during the parade. So these people are walking through the parade, handing it out to everybody. But they're not throwing it. I mean, that's a lot of weight.
We help put on the parade as the tourism bureau, and we strictly tell them that they are not allowed to throw things.
If you want to give 5 gallons of ice cream, please be gentle when you hand it to somebody.
Please hand it off carefully.
Yeah.
We have, people give away. We have Kimes, so they do carpenter's back and belts and shirts. You can walk out of there with about $100 worth of stuff just for the community wanting to show their gratitude that you've come and participated. The fireworks don't cost anything. There are food vendors set up. The firework display goes off on the Friday night, and the parade is the Saturday night. And it really is just a celebration. Brandy has been there. She knows it really just is.
You gotta have the queen.
I was gonna say she knows.
I'll be there this year too.
Exactly. It's just a great weekend that we just celebrate the fall harvest. Another event that we have that does really well in the area is Boo in the Berg, which happens in the fall. So right around Halloween, you can come, you can have wine, beer. We have a tent set up. The stores stay open later. There's a haunted house that happens in our Victorian that like ghost tours. So if you're into that, that's a great night. We have girls' night in February that happens. I'm trying to think there's so many, but Harvest Fest is one that we find people happen to come back to, as well as Charm Days and the Swiss Festival. So I know those 3 big ones for sure are probably on Brandy's list, but I'll let her give you some more options.
Queen of road trips. Are there any others that they should mark on their calendar?
So Berlin, definitely the Harvest Fest was on my list. You definitely need to stay at the Berlin Grand and get a room with a balcony because you can watch the fireworks straight from your balcony. That was something I did last year. But also next year, the Heartland RV Rally is at the Evergreen RV Resort, and that's right there in Ohio's Amish Country. So that is going to be exciting. So that is, if you are an RVer and you own a Heartland brand, please come to my rally so that I can meet you. We can hang out and cook some s'mores over a campfire.
Hey, now
she's already convinced me I'm going.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Now, while you mention that, Brandy, can you talk a little bit about the campground? Is there any amenities there that you want to let people know about?
Yeah, so that's my favorite campground for families, or if you're looking for a more bougie experience while you're in Amish country. They have an indoor pool, they
Oh,
have a
wow.
hot tub, they have really great paved sites. I mean, when I say resort, I mean resort. So
Right.
you
Don't
can
forget the
take your
arcade.
RV. Oh yeah, I mean, it is so nice. And if you ask me like bathroom wise, it's like going into the Taj Mahal of camping bathrooms.
So we're talking, there's no thunder buckets here at this location. So you've
Nope.
got plumbing. All right. Well, that's good.
Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah.
That is awesome. And just to give people a quick perspective too, because a lot of people are listening while they're driving, just where is this wonderful oasis, this Ohio Amish country? Are you near Cleveland? Are you further east? If you can just kind of give everybody some city shout outs to kind of let them know where it needs to be on their map.
Yeah, so I'll say, I tell everybody when we're talking about it, we are an hour and a half south of Cleveland and an hour and a half north of Columbus. We're kind of put right in the middle of two big interstates, not interstates, cities. So you can kind of hit us when you're traveling in between, headed to the east to the west. Canton Football Hall of Fame is 45 minutes from us. So you can, Sundays, guys want to go check out the Football Hall of Fame. Wives can stay at home in the camper. You can have a great time.
Well, and that's the other thing I think that's really unique too, as I talked to Brandy, is for people that want to have this experience, it's great because you have so much to do there. Get
Right.
Brandy's book, and you can read and plan. But on top of that, as you said, and I do think it's important for people to know, if they want to have a longer stay, they can check a lot of boxes in Amish country. But then to your point, they still have, I would say, easy driving distance. I always say for people that RV, anything within like an hour and a half radius is more than accommodating for most people to go and enjoy other things. So really, to me, Brandy, this is a no-brainer location to go stay if you're traveling through the great state of Ohio. I do want to just give you a shout out to Shannon that, well, first, before I give you the shout out, you've mentioned a few times your website. Why don't you let everybody know if they want to learn more information, and if they didn't buy Brandy's books, 100 Things to Do in Amish Country, written by Brandy Gleason, hint, hint, get the book. If they don't get the book, where can they get information? Are you guys on social media? What is your web address? Where they can find that new Wander map that's on there? Give everybody the deets on where they can find you.
Yeah, so you can find us on visitamishcountry.com. That's going to get you to the homepage. You can see all of our social media at the bottom. We are Amish Country Ohio on Instagram, and then we are Ohio Amish Country on Facebook, Twitter, everything else. We have a YouTube channel as well, so that's great. Come check out the cool new things we're working there. On the website, you can find places to stay. There's actually a booking engine that allows you guys to check in the campgrounds, hotels, anything. We have the Wander app is on the website, and if you can't find it for some reason, there are QR codes all over the county that are going to show you how to use that map.
Okay. And I do have to say, I just got to let people know, Shannon, you are kind of a big deal. And I heard from Brandy that your love for Ohio Amish Country will never change. You've dedicated so much time and resources to make it even more amazing than what it's been, just in terms of getting the information out to, again, thousands of families in the region. You've done a phenomenal job based on whoever's measuring you, because there's a rumor that you're going to be heading on to be promoted as the Medina County Executive Director. When are we going to see you make this transition? And then, of course, for everybody listening, Shannon Carter is the name. She will be back on this special road trip series with Brandy with a lot more exciting things. But when do you see this transition happening?
Yeah, the transition of that is actually starting to take place now. I will officially start there August 14th. I leave here the 4th, and like you mentioned, Amish Country is my heart. We are not moving there, but I'm excited for I have family roots in Medina, so it's kind of like my second home. It's nice to be recognized for my efforts here and being able to take that to Medina, because it's one of those hidden gems in Ohio that no one knows about. And I'm really excited to bring it not only to the RV world, but the rest of the world, and show them, like, you need to add this to your list. And the best part is you can stay in Amish Country. We're a half-hour drive over. So.
Well, that's even better news. So everybody listening and viewing, stay tuned. Shannon's going to be back, probably in a different shirt, or if you wash that, you
Probably.
can wear it again. I rotate my shirts, so that's not a big deal, but you will be back as a guest. So if you're looking to plot multiple destinations in the great state of Ohio, well, Shannon's going to be back with the co-host of the year and Miss Brandy Gleason. So on behalf of Heartland RV, on behalf of the Launching Life's Journeys podcast, on behalf of my lovely co-host, Brandy Gleason, who you inspired to write a book that's made her very famous.
She inspired me
so
too.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Well, Shannon, I wish you the best of luck in your future endeavors. We're going to have you back. Your love will never stop. It is to perpetuity. Ohio Amish Country. Learn more by going to visitAmishCountry.com or find them. What is it? Amish Country Ohio on Facebook?
Amish Country, or Ohio Amish Country, I'm sorry.
Ohio Amish Country on Facebook. Or again, there's this author, Brandy Gleason, 100 Things to Do in Amish Country. The book is available. Is it available on Amazon, Brandy?
It sure is.
It's available everywhere, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you can even pick it up here in Amish Country.
What?
Yeah.
Golly, there you go. A 2-for-1. That would be wonderful. Well, ladies, thank you both so much for taking some time to share your love about a special place near and dear to your hearts. And we look forward to having you back on with some more updates of another great location. So Shannon, thank you so much for being a guest today on the Launching Life's Journeys podcast.
Thank you, Will. It's been fantastic.
I'm Will Miller, and I want to thank you for tuning in to the Launching Life's Journeys podcast, brought to you by Heartland RVs. Stay tuned for our next destination.